Okay, I'm back. My cabbage has been boiling or simmering for about 45 minutes now. That's the color you want it to be, a nice golden color. If you're not going to serve your cabbage the same day, go ahead and turn your stove off and allow your cabbage to cool. It's just going to mellow out. If you're doing a red cabbage and not a green cabbage, let it cook for an additional 30 minutes just to soften it a little bit more. Then turn your heat off, let it cool, and put it away. That was the sweet sour cabbage portion of the video. Tomorrow I will show you all three segments. I'm not going to do the cabbage, but I will show you the end result of what the cabbage looks like when it's being served. So stay tuned. Okay, all, welcome to my kitchen. Today is Cooking with Joel. We're going to be making chicken wings tonight. We're going to do these in the oven. It's really a simple recipe to do. You just need 2 ingredients and about 1 hour's time. You're going to set your oven to 450 degrees. And I know you guys have seen the cabbage video of the Valentine's Day. This is actually the cabbage. It's the day before Valentine's Day. I'm getting ready to put this away. But we're focusing on these guys, and these are wings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my cabbage, because we're not having cabbage tonight. I'm going to take my cookie sheet. You're going to need a cookie sheet. You're not going to line it. You're just going to line up your wings. Now these particular wings that I'm going to show you guys are a little bit different than if you go to your supermarket and you get whole wings. These are wing pieces, so they're going to cook a little bit differently than what I'm used to, because I'm used to making, when I do this, I'm used to doing it with a whole wing. But hopefully they'll come out just as well. And these particular wings were previously frozen. I bought them at Costco in an entire 10-pound bag when I went grocery shopping. And wings right now are kind of on the expensive side. I've seen them everywhere from $4.99 to over $6 a pound. So they're expensive. And Costco had a 10-piece or a 10-pound bag of wings for $20, which was really reasonable. Like I said, these are going to be a little bit different because usually when I do wings, I do a whole wing, and these are pieces. So the cook time might be a little bit less than what I would normally do. So I'm going to turn you guys around. For this recipe, it's really, really simple. You're going to need a stick of butter. And I'm going to rotate you guys again. So what you're going to want to do with your stick of butter is you're going to want to melt it. And the easiest way to melt it is to get a measuring cup and put your stick of butter in your cup. And you don't have to salt or pepper the wings. And the reason being is if you use a stick of salted butter, it's already got salt in it, and that will actually take care of the wings. So most microwaves nowadays have settings. If they're newer microwaves, they have a melt setting. You're just going to press that. You're going to select the melt, and it's going to say butter on it, and you're just going to hit the start. If you don't have a melt butter or a softened butter button on your microwave, just do 30-second intervals to melt butter. Usually butter will melt between 30 and 60 seconds for one stick. It's also good, and I know when we did the rib series, we talked about different brushes. This is one of my pastry brushes that I use both for pastry. I also use it when I do wings. And sometimes you'll notice your butter is not fully melted. Just put it in for another 30 seconds to fully melt. You want the butter to be totally melted. And my butter is fully melted. It took less than 20 seconds. I'm gonna move you guys down so hopefully you guys can see this. What you're gonna do is you're just gonna take your brush and you're just gonna brush your wings with the butter. You're gonna do this for each wing. And depending on how many wings you do, if you do a whole package of wings, if you do the whole one, you may need 2 sticks of butter. But there's only 14 pieces of chicken wings here, so one is very sufficient. You're just gonna coat all. You're only gonna do this on one side. You're not gonna need to flip them and brush the other side. This will give your wings a really nice crispy skin, but it'll also give them really good flavor. And I probably could have gone with even a half a stick when they're in pieces like this, but if you have bigger wings, and always make sure that the skin side is up. You're gonna flip these halfway through the cook. Or if it's a whole wing, do 45 minutes and then the last 15 minutes flip them. Depending on how you like your wings, and this has always been an argument in our household, my husband doesn't like them as crispy as I do because it's harder for him to eat. I like them more on the crispy side. So we'll play with their temperature. You might want to do 35 minutes versus 45 minutes, then flip them. If they're getting done before the hour mark to your liking, take them out. These being in pieces may cook a little bit faster than a whole wing, so I'm going to check them at the half an hour mark and then turn them probably. To serve with this, you could serve almost anything with this. You can do a mashed potato with a vegetable. You could do macaroni and cheese. You could do rice with this. This is a great meal for, and it's very simple. It's a very quick meal. You can find whole wings usually in your local supermarket's butcher case, and they come prepackaged. The smaller packets will have 8 to 10 wings, and the larger ones will usually have about 14 wings. But I'm going to show you what the wings look like. That's all with the butter. Don't worry about the butter going all over your cookie sheet. It'll get nice and crisp, and then when it's done, just pour a little bit of water in your pan and let it sit for about an hour, and it should be easy to clean. And that's our dinner in a nutshell. My husband's probably going to make mashed potatoes tonight with this, and possibly a vegetable. He just sides, so that means I'm going to make the mashed potatoes. So anyway, have fun with your chicken wings. You can do them also on the grill, but we'll do that later, in a later video. Okay, y'all, it's been almost an hour since my cabbage has cooked. And I've got a bowl with the lid. I'm just going to put my cabbage in the thing, and I'm going to show you. That's what the finished cabbage should look like. It is totally cool now, and hopefully you get a better view. All you're going to do the next day when you go to heat this up is just put it in a smaller pot, let it come to a boil, turn it down to simmer it for about 5 minutes, and it'll be ready to serve. It's really, really good. The longer this cabbage sits, the better off it's going to taste. And when you put it in a container, make sure to put some of the juice in it. The juice is what is actually going to help it take on the taste that it needs to be. And it's going to be a really, really good cabbage. You are really going to like this cabbage. And if you're not a huge fan of cabbage, some people, I was not growing up. The only way I would actually eat cabbage is when my grandmother made it this way. And she would usually make it 2 to 3 times a year. She'd make it usually around the holidays or any time that my grandfather had a taste for duck and dumplings and sweet sour cabbage. Or as I got a little bit older, would talk her into making it with the pork loin roast versus sauerkraut. I'm not a big sauerkraut fan, and this does not taste like sauerkraut. Now, if you have too much cabbage for the bowl, you can always smash it down. That's the one nice thing about cooked cabbage, is it does condense quite well. And there is the final product of the sweet sour cabbage. I will, when I film the rest of the Valentine's Day dinner, I will have this plated, and I will show you what it looks like without all of the other sides that are being made. But that's the cabbage. It can sit in your refrigerator a couple of days ahead of time, and the longer it sits, the more flavorful it will become. Okay, I'm wrapping up the 13th chicken wing dinner. They're in the oven. They did cook a little bit quicker than a whole wing would do. If you're going to do the chicken wing recipe with a whole entire wing, meaning you get the whole wing and they're not in pieces, go a full hour. If they're in pieces like mine were, cut back about 10 to 15 minutes. Potatoes are going on the stove. They'll be done in a couple of minutes. I'm just going to heat a frozen broccoli and cheese sauce for a vegetable, and that's going to be our meal. So that's going to wrap up tonight's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Tune in tomorrow for another great cooking video. Okay, I'm just going to show you what your wings should look like. They should look like that. You're going to want to turn them over. And you can do one of two things. If you're worried about them sticking, you can use a metal, you can use the metal spatula and just kind of lift them off. They will be a little bit stuck. And the fact that these cooked a lot faster, you don't have to go a full 15 minutes on the other side. Maybe just a couple of minutes, like 5 to 10 minutes at the most. Otherwise, you're going to have really crispy wings. Yeah, these are done, actually.
Let me know when I can.
Go ahead. You can.
I can't do anything
Why?
because the camera's there.
Okay, so I put the wings back in. They're gonna go in for just a few minutes. I'm gonna start my broccoli with the cheddar sauce. My husband's gonna make the mashed potatoes, and the wings are actually done, and it took less than 45 minutes. So what I found out is you have to look at the top of the wing. If the top of the wing is done to your liking, flip them, put them in the oven for just a couple of minutes. These were cooked well on the bottom, so they don't need that much more time. I'm only going to do them for as long as the microwave. I'm going to pull them and then they're going to be ready to serve. So, thank you for tuning in. I'll see you on the next Cooking with Joel video.